relationship, but the value.
Because you want to make that impact.
It can make you happier.
Elevate others around
Welcome
us.
to the Selling from the Heart podcast, your home for authentic, effective, and socially integrated sales strategies to help you master the art of selling. Join your co-hosts Larry Levine and Daryl Amy, along with some of the world's best sales thought leaders and practitioners, as we explore ways to help you grow your sales.
Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. I'm your host, Daryl Amy, here today with your co-host, none other than Larry Levine. What's going on?
Hey, Daryl, there's all kinds of things going on. Every day I wake up and I go, it's a Selling from the Heart day.
It is a Selling from the Heart day. And if you're new to the Selling from the Heart podcast, welcome. You've joined a growing community of sales professionals that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, adding real value. We call it Selling from the Heart. And right now, Larry, we're recording this here in February 2021. And the motion in this year of sales professionals working to be authentic, building authentic relationship, delivering authentic value. It is, I'm telling you, this is going to be a good year.
It goes right back to my favorite saying, Daryl, authenticity is a lifestyle. It's not a light switch. And people are rising to the occasion. They're saying, you know what? This is the time to make something happen. It's the time to bring heart, sincerity, and substance to the forefront.
That's right. It really is. And this is a time to really work strategically. And one of the things I just want to give a shout out for, because I am so excited, just announced today the 2021 Sales and Marketing Alignment Challenge. We've got a bang up roster of sales leaders and marketing leaders. And this, if you're listening in, this is a great time to grab your marketing team, get registered for the challenge, and learn not only from Jeb Blunt, learn from Mark Hunter, learn from, we've got, oh my goodness.
Meredith Elliott Powell, Doug Burdett,
Jim Carr. It's going to be fantastic and more. And you're absolutely going to love this. It'd be a great opportunity to get your salespeople and your marketing team together in the same room, working in the same direction, getting ideas how to do that. If you'd like to learn more, just text the word alignment to 21,000. Alignment to 21,000, or visit 2021alignmentchallenge.com. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a great time. I think it's going to have a massive impact. Speaking of fun and a great time, a huge shout out to our friends at BombBomb who enable us to communicate with video every day. I just absolutely enjoy not only using the platform, I enjoy seeing the way people are using BombBomb right now, even Larry Levine.
I know this is the best part about this, Daryl, is every time I get a connection request on LinkedIn, I drop a quick 30 to 45 second video and so forth. And I invite them into the conversation. And it's so interesting it's a smile when it comes back and they go, that was really cool.
It's incredibly powerful. So I want to give us a quick word from our friends at BombBomb, and then we're going to dive into what's going to be a really fun and powerful conversation today.
Selling from the heart means putting you back into the sales process, your passion, your energy, the emotion you bring, the belief you have in your product or service. Sales is a transfer of emotion. But can that happen if you're hiding behind a keyboard? Will another text-based message in their inbox get you to where you want to go? There's a better way, and it starts with you. You in front of more people more often through a video messaging platform like BombBomb. We want to guide you along the Selling from the Heart process. Sign up for a free trial of BombBomb at bombomb.com, or sign up for a demonstration and sell from the heart by being face-to-face with more people more often.
Awesome. And we love hearing from people how you're using this. What a great tool. And what a great friendship is formed between us and Steve and Ethan and the whole BombBomb team. Thank you.
It just cracks me up. I love their book, Rehumanize Your Business, but it's so funny. We're all humans and we're talking about rehumanizing.
but we've got to do this, and
I
this
know.
is maybe no more. There's a critical place where we've got to rehumanize our business and our relationships, and that's at the level of sales leadership. Which brings us to our guest today, Larry. We've got another guest on the show for the first time named Larry. So why don't you introduce your friend Larry Jr. and let's dive in.
Okay, so Daryl, this was when I met Larry Long. I go, man, I can't wait to have Larry Long on the podcast for one simple reason. We're gonna gang up on Daryl because there's 2 double L's on this. But here's what's interesting, and what I really love about Larry is, besides he's got the same name as me, as the passion and the pride and the purpose that he brings to the forefront, the excitement. Then you're going to see this real quick, the excitement that he brings. And I go, you got to bring some of this to Selling from the Heart. Larry Long, you're on Selling from the Heart. Welcome.
Come on now. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Larry. My privilege, my pleasure to be here with the legends.
Woohoo! We're gonna have a good time. Well, Larry, you know the question that every guest on Selling from the Heart gets, and as we were joking and we're talking before the show, you better answer this question correctly, or you might get booted off the show. I'm just kidding. But you know the question, Larry. What does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
I hope I don't mess this one up.
You even got the golden mic now.
Nah, thank you. So selling from the heart, I mean, honestly, when I think about it, it has to do about care. Do you really, truly care? And people are smart. They can smell BS from a mile away. And if you don't care about the folks that you're leading, the folks that you're working with, the folks that you're serving, good luck getting anything done. And it's crazy because video, when you talk about video, when you can see somebody, it rehumanizes them, right, Larry? Rehumanizes them because they're a real person. Yeah. People want to work with real people. And I love what y'all are doing, putting the person back in salesperson, automation and all this other stuff that's going on. It's good, but it's really about the person, the interactions, the relationships, and the true care. I'm going to go back to that word, C-A-R-E, care. That's what selling from the heart is to me.
And here's, boy, I want to peel back a couple of things that you said, because you said care and then you said automation and so forth. And to me, it's hard to truly care. Now, there's going to be some people that this might not sit well, but just follow along just for a moment with this. Is I believe it's hard to care, truly care, when you hide behind automation. Automation serves a purpose. Technology serves a purpose. It helps facilitate conversations. It might help facilitate connections, sales, growth, and so forth. But when we hide behind it and we hide behind it and we hide behind it, we forget at the heart of everything is a conversation to have with somebody else. And we've forgotten a lot about that in sales. Would you agree?
1,000%. And I mean, you've got to bring your authentic self, your true self, because people want to work with people. And I mean, I don't know about y'all. When I think about sales, I think we're playing matchmaker. We're matching our product, our service, our thoughts, and or ideas with someone else's needs, wants, desires, challenges, hopes, dreams, aspirations. And if you can play that match, then you're now in business, you're now selling. But how do you understand what that match is? You got to ask the questions, and then you got to listen to see, is there a way that I can make that match to serve you? It's not about me, it's about you. And I don't know if y'all are music lovers. I am. My favorite radio station is WIIFM. With them, what's in it for me? That's all folks want to know. And if you're not tuned in on that dial to what's in it for you, for the prospect, the client, your colleague, the folks that are on your team, good luck.
I think you listen, as you were saying, is the word of the year for sales professionals in 2021. It always has been, but it's really critical right now to listen for so many different reasons. There's the relational reason. I mean, just listening builds a relationship, but also the value reason of truly understanding what is important to that person. And, I think we're going through a huge shift right now, hopefully at some point into a post-pandemic marketplace, which means we got to be ears to the ground, really working to understand, to go, what does this mean to you? What is it? What are your goals? What are your challenges right now? And listening. Oh my goodness, such a critical skill set, and easy to practice. You just close your mouth and listen, right? Ask some good questions. It's the easiest sales skill ever, and it's the one we don't do the most.
Yeah, but Larry, and I know Larry would agree on this. It just goes to show you what's happened over the years and over the decades. Is, you know, the things that Daryl's speaking about, the things that Larry's speaking about. It's not like this is brand new stuff. It's time to get reacquainted with this stuff. Would you, and you know, do you want to expand on that for a moment, Larry?
Come on now, back to the basics. So I know y'all know I played baseball. And when you talk about baseball, it's the very basics. Football, we just got done with the Super Bowl. It's the blocking and the tackling. It's the little things that mean so much. So when you get back to the fundamentals of sales, you get back to the fundamentals of relationships, it really is the basics. My daughter's in first grade, the ABCs, the colors. It's essentially the please and the thank you. And we've lost, I wouldn't say we all have, but folks have kind of gotten comfortable. And when things are going great, it's easy to kind of get by, to slide by and not have the basics down pat. But what we're going through right now, what I'm saying, just this is my observation. If you're not tight on the basic fundamentals, and it's funny you mentioned that, I've got an online on-demand sales training course coming out called Sales 101, The Basics. And we just build on that foundation of sales and selling skills that you have to master, or else you're going to have a tough time getting to the intermediate, getting to the expert level of sales. So yes, 1,000%, Larry.
Yeah, I think you know, when we go back to the basics, and I love the sports, I love seeing the bat, right? I'm a baseball junkie. As I can smell, right? I can smell cut grass right after the Super Bowl. I can smell cut grass. I can just smell it right now.
Spring training.
Spring training's just right around the corner. But Daryl, let's peel this back for a moment, this basics, because everyone will say, hey, I'm getting back to the basics. You got to get back to the little things. Well, let's touch on that, because what's basic to Larry or what's basic to Daryl may not be basic to somebody else. So, you know, I'm going to go back to some sports things, and Larry Long's the coach for a moment. Coach our listeners along the way on what are some of the basics that you believe salespeople must get reacquainted with, you know, moving into 2021.
I got you. Number one, time management. Where you spend your time, your energy, your resources. It seems so basic, but let me see your calendar. Do you have it blocked out? Are you intentional, or are you kind of just going with the flow, just willy-nilly? If you show me your calendar, I can tell you what's important to you. Do you have it blocked out? Is there a plan behind it? Number two, we talk about prospecting, and we all know we've heard it before, but actually executing. We know that we're supposed to find our ICP. We know we're supposed to segment our prospects, our VIP prospects, our B-list prospects, and then our C-list prospects that we just try out things. But are we actually following that? And what I found is that with being remote, it's a lot easier to get into bad habits, to just do things without really any intentionality, without any thought behind it. I'm just going through the motions. They gave me a checklist, and I'm just going through it. I'm checking the boxes. No, you're a business owner. We all, I'm underneath the umbrella of Teamworks. That's who writes my check. But honestly, I'm running Larry Long Jr. LLC. And as a sales professional, if you're not running your business, if you're relying on someone else to direct where your business goes, you got to be the captain of your ship. Now, you want to take those inputs and learn best practices, but ultimately you've got to be the one to drive and say, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing in order to have success.
So good. And I love this conversation around the basics and really understanding the basics. And I think we got to understand the basics now in the context of the world that we live in. You know, shoot, we've been doing this for a year now, right? And I think the trends are showing that we're going to be doing this for a little while longer, and maybe indefinitely, some of us. So what do the basics look like in the context of our world we're living in right now? How would you define those, Larry?
It's all about other people. And that's not just in today's world. It's more important today, but it's always been important. I don't know about y'all, but I use a term called me monster. And if you think about it, we've all worked with, we've all played with me monsters.
Yes.
Ain't nobody got time for that. If you're a me monster, you can't be on my team. We can't even grab a drink together.
You're probably not listening to this podcast.
I'm looking for you monsters. And I don't know if y'all listen to rap, but there's a rapper named Young Jeezy, and he's got a song called Go Getter. And I love it. That's my jam, because I'm a go-getter. I love a go-getter, but I really love a go-giver. Go out there and get it and give it. What are you giving to someone else? What deposit? I've heard people say deposits. What deposits, true deposits, are you making in the other people without any expectation of anything in return? And that's just genuine. I've heard y'all mention before, authentic, genuine. Those are great terms, but I want to know, what are you doing? Not what are you thinking, but what are you doing? Martin Luther King Jr., he's got a quote that's one of my favorites. Life's most urgent and persistent question is, what are you doing to help others? Not what are you thinking, not what are you dreaming, not what are you writing, what are you doing? And there's another saying, action speaks so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. I want to see, show me your body of work of what are you actually doing to impact others for a positive.
That was so good. I liked how I thought you were going to sing a little bit longer, but nevertheless, but but there's hey Daryl, I told you we were going to have a good time on this podcast, but it goes back to doers and sayers, right? And I by the way, I love that quote that you used with Martin Luther King. Is so spot on. And everyone wants to talk about giving, but then share with me, when's the last time that you actually lent a helping hand and gave something? And I think this is the time where the professionals are going to rise up, and the gap between professionals and sales reps, unfortunately, has widened. And, I'm a big believer, if you want to get, you got to give. And it goes back to what you're saying. And I believe giving is going to find its way into some of the basics, my opinion.
I would agree on that. And it's amazing because before I hopped on with y'all, I was on a Clubhouse. I was in a room talking about legacy. What does legacy mean? And I was on a podcast before where we got deep. There were tears. I don't like to cry, at least not in public. But that podcast had me talking about my legacy and what my father, who passed away 5.5 years ago, what his legacy meant to me as he passed the baton on to me. And I'm trying to pass it along. If you're not vulnerable, if you're not authentic, people generally, I can't speak for all, but people don't want any piece of it. I want to know you, Larry Levine. I want to know you, Daryl Amy. I don't want to know that mask on. I mean, take the mask off and reveal to me who you really are at your core. What's your why? Why do you do what you do? And do you honestly care about me, or do you have commission breath? Because commission breath is funky. I don't care how many Tic Tacs you put in there, it still stinks.
Well, but see, and this is what's interesting, because Daryl and I always use this phrase all the time, right? And we talked about it before we started recording the podcast when we asked, hey, what's lighting your fire? I want to share with people, and Daryl knows this. Hey, let me share with you what's lighting my fire right now. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm obsessed with right now. And I believe this is the way that you really connect at deeper levels with people is, hey, Larry, over the last 30 days, the things that have been lighting my fire have been, hey, what's lighting your fire?
Yeah.
What makes you come alive? And they're not those typical sales questions that you're going to ask, but you're going to get somebody to open up in ways that you never have before by just asking something different.
And then shutting up and listening and really caring. Once again, people know when you're just doing it to check the box. Oh, I heard Larry Levine say I should ask, what lights your fire? We can start the fire. Essentially, and then I can feel if you really care about that answer, because it's in the eye. In the Zoom world that we live in, it's in the eyes. It's in your whole being. It's in your whole feeling. Yeah. And good luck faking it. You might be good enough. You might win an Emmy. I think that's for films, a Grammy. But essentially, people know whether you're being real or whether you're being fake. So I love it.
You know, we're recording this. It's going to come out probably right after Valentine's Day. And you were talking earlier about the love bank. And, you know, if you want to have a good relationship with your spouse, or just listening to someone teach on this recently, very timely, right? You've got to put deposits in that love bank. Otherwise, someday you might just show up to realize there's nothing in there. But I think our clients are very similar right now. You know, what's the love bank like in terms of your relationship with your clients and your best prospects, right? Is there a balance there, or is there a deficit? And, you know, the reality is, if you're going to be the me monster, you can't, you know, it's like we always like to quote, Larry, you can't collect if you don't invest, right? And so what kind of deposits are you putting in the relationship? Let's not call it the love bank. That's getting a little creepy, but what kind of deposits are you putting in the relationship bank with your clients? And this is really, and this gets down to the do, right? That not just talk about it. And, you know, we can all sit here on the podcast and listen to podcasts like this and think about it, but it's like, what are you going to do? And that's where the calendar, this is the block and tackle of sales that gets missed. Everyone thinks, well, I got to block off time for prospecting. True, you absolutely should. But we also got to block off time for gratitude and investing in our clients. Otherwise, we're going to show up and the bank account's going to be empty, and we're going to wonder why we can't hit our quota.
Hey, Daryl, can I share a little tip? I got a challenge for you.
All right, lay it on. Come on.
Bring it on. Yeah. So it's called the hashtag 3-minute challenge. It's not the hashtag mannequin challenge where everyone was freezing. It's like, grandma, you're shaking. The hashtag 3-minute challenge. And essentially the goal is to surprise and delight. So every weekday that ends in Y, think about that. You just take 3 minutes to find someone in your Rolodex, whether it's a client, whether it's a former client or prospect, but all you're looking to do is something that you can do to bring a smile to their face. So I'll give you an example for me. Before every baseball game, I used to eat 2 honey buns, one that had the white glaze and one that had the clear glaze. If you wanted to surprise and delight me, all you got to do is go to Google. You can Google honey buns with white glaze, honey buns with clear glaze. Take a picture of it, send it to me, or better yet, send a video that has the real honey buns, and you say, hey, Larry, I thought this might bring a smile to your face. But essentially, it's that little thing. That's a little gesture that took you 3 minutes, 5 minutes max, that makes huge dividends, because now I'm feeling good. I might be feeling a little bit hungry because I'm cutting down on the honey buns. But now it's like, wow, Daryl, Larry, they were thinking about me. They put a smile on my face, and they didn't ask me for anything in return, but I'm going to remember that gesture because no one else is doing it. That's where the power of handwritten notes comes, because I can count on one hand how many handwritten notes I've gotten in the past month. It's slim to none, and Slim has left the building.
Boy, I tell you what, I can't remember the last time I've heard honey bun.
Well, you don't live in the South, Larry, obviously.
But no, seriously, though, I like what you're saying. And as I was listening to what Larry was saying, Daryl, it reminds me of our recent past guest, Scott Schilling.
Yes.
So Scott Schilling said that every day he plays contact roulette on his smartphone, and he opens up his smartphone and he just scrolls through, finds a name, and he presses right to go. And he's okay. But he goes, here's the deal. He goes, I'm really hoping they don't answer the phone, because then Scott would go on to say this. Hey, Larry, it's Scott Schilling. I'm president of your fan club. I just want to let you know I appreciate you. Have an amazing day. Right? It's the same thing. Imagine what would happen. I'm a big believer. Sales has just been flipped on its head over the last year in a very good way. but a very human and personal and real way. And I'm a big believer that the more real you make it, the more real that relationship comes. And I'll use this phrase all the time just to expand on it, is in sales, we've always been on the flip side, right? We've always been on the losing end of some deals. It happens to all of us. And somewhere down the road, we get this phrase thrown at us. Hey, Larry, you know what? Don't take this personal. Daryl and I just made a business decision, but please don't take it personal. Well, I'm going to flip this around and say, you know what? Business is personal. And the more personal you make it right now, the faster you're going to connect and relate to somebody.
Big time. And those relationships are critical. I heard a sales guru, Steve Nudelberg, who said, hey, Larry, my 30 years of selling, what I learned, the difference between contacts, people you know, and contracts, people you do business with, is the letter R. And that R is relationships. We all know that people buy from folks that they know, like, and trust. He said, hey, it's not what you know. And some people say it's who you know. He said, it's not even who you know. It's who knows you and who trusts you, right, and who believes in you that really makes stuff happen. And I've kept that in my mind over the last 7 years. It's so true. It is a contact sport and it is personal. This is people to people, P to P. That's the business that we're in.
Larry, what an incredible conversation. I knew this was going to be inspiring and I knew we were going to laugh. And I almost shed a tear at one point, I think.
Hey, by the way, I would like to see Daryl cry. So bring it on, Larry. I want to see this guy cry.
No. We're good. We're going to wrap this up. We're good. I don't need to cry online. Hey, seriously, though, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for investing in us today. And thank you for just being who you are. This has been really refreshing, inspiring. And I know just on behalf of our listeners, you've given us a ton of great ideas. And I know you want to challenge us to just take some action.
For sure. I want to say thank you for the honor and the privilege to be here with y'all and to share some insights. I just encourage all your listeners, go out there. Only you can make it happen.
Oh, so good. So good. Thank you, Larry. And Larry, wow, I knew this was going to be an incredible discussion. I knew we were going to be challenged. And this is a great time to, here's what I wanted to say at the end of all of this. I loved what Larry was saying about the calendar, and you go, well, what calendar? What does that have to do with anything? Everything, because nothing happens if you don't take action. And, we've been working with the cohort in the intensive. We're running the Authentic Selling Intensive right now. It's incredible. Not only removing the barriers that keep us from bringing our hearts to our clients, but also looking at the habit side of this and developing consistent habits. And here's the deal. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you don't have action, which requires a little bit of planning and some processes, then intention doesn't pay the bills. You're going to look up and the love bank's going to be empty. But if you can build intention and take action, then you got something that's really, really powerful.
Yeah. And I'd like to just, right before we wrap up, I want to expand on that calendar. In fact, I learned this from you, and I think this would be just a real quick to pass this along to the listeners, is color code your calendar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Color code because otherwise everything just blends in to the calendar. But block your me time, block your prospecting time, block your client time, block your meeting times, and put those in different colors.
That's right.
And then you can real quickly, right, in a Mind for Sales, very first chapter, Mark Hunter talks about that Monday is not the day for planning. Because if you're planning on your Monday that week, you've just consumed 20% of your week. Your planning should be on Sunday, so that when you look at your calendar real quickly, you can tell exactly what you're doing in that given week via a color on your calendar.
So I want to throw down the gauntlet. We're going to start doing this on the podcast. We did this in the challenge, and I think it's going to become a feature on the podcast now. We want to challenge you to take action. Here's what I'm going to throw out to the audience. I want to challenge everybody to block a chunk of time on your calendar every day to invest in your clients, to invest with gratitude, with encouragement, with caring, with honey buns, whatever it is, invest in your clients. And love to hear back from you as you do your planning this coming week in terms of what you're doing to block off time, not just for prospecting, but also for investing in those relationships. Because as you say, Larry, your network is your net worth. So let's invest in it.
Hey, and by the way, hey, Larry Long, the next time you listen to this podcast back, I want a honey bun. You got
that's
now
right.
My mind's spinning over honey buns, Daryl.
Larry's cheering in the green room. Well, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry Jr. And thank you to everybody in the Selling from the Heart podcast world, our audience, the community. Right now, this is a time to bring authenticity to everything that you do. And we're seeing it happen all over the place. And I just want to say, keep going. And to everyone who's left us a review on your podcast platform of choice, whether you listen on Apple, Spotify, FM, iHeart, you should listen to Selling from the Heart on iHeartRadio. You can, but wherever you listen, please leave us a review. It helps us spread the word. And until next week, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep adding real value. We challenge you, block off time to invest in your network on your calendar. And most of all, sell from the heart.